Imagine this. You're on the verge of something big, a job you've worked so hard for, a relationship you've dreamed of, or a project you've invested everything into. But then, out of nowhere, rejection hits. It's painful, it's crushing, and in that moment, it feels like your entire world is falling apart. We've all been there, haven't we? But here's the truth. No one tells you. Rejection isn't the end. In fact, it's one of the greatest gifts life can offer. In Stoicism, there's a powerful idea. Things don't happen to us. They happen for us. The great Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." And that, my friends, is the foundation of today's video. Today, we're going to explore 5 powerful lessons on why rejection is a blessing. Through the Stoic lens, rejection is not a curse. It's a hidden blessing. Embracing it could change your life in ways you never imagined. Before we dive deeper into this life-changing concept, take a moment to hit that like button and subscribe, because this might just be your turning point. Let's get started. 1. Rejection builds resilience. Rejection is one of life's toughest teachers, but it's also one of the most powerful. Imagine spending weeks preparing for a job interview that you thought would be life-changing. You've polished your resume, rehearsed every answer, and walked out of that interview feeling confident. But then the phone rings and you hear those dreaded words. "We've decided to move forward with another candidate." The sting of that rejection hits hard. Your mind spirals, and you start questioning your worth, your abilities, and whether you'll ever get that opportunity again. This is a familiar scenario, and we've all been through it in one form or another. Maybe it's not a job. Maybe it's a relationship that ended, a project that failed, or a dream that didn't materialize. It feels crushing in the moment, doesn't it? Like the rug has been pulled out from under you. But what if I told you that this very rejection is the key to your growth? Every no is not the end of the road. It's a step in building your inner strength. Each rejection is an invitation to fortify your resolve and grow tougher in the face of adversity. Think of it like a blacksmith hammering away at metal. Every strike, every moment of intense heat is what shapes and strengthens the steel. That's exactly what rejection does to us. It sharpens our character, hardens our resolve, and prepares us for what's next. You see, rejection isn't meant to destroy you. It's meant to build you up, to strengthen you. Each time you hear a no, it's life's way of testing your resilience, preparing you for the future challenges that are inevitable. Think about it. If we never faced rejection, if everything we desired came easily, would we ever develop the grit we need to face life's bigger obstacles? It's the repeated facing of failure that builds our endurance, that thickens our skin. Let's look at it through the eyes of Stoic philosophy. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic thinkers, often spoke about the importance of accepting life as it is, not as we wish it to be. In his meditations, he reminds himself over and over again that the world will not always cater to our desires. The things we want won't always align with what life has in store for us. But this isn't something to despair over. Instead, something to embrace. Because every time life throws rejection your way, it's an opportunity to build mental armor, a shield of resilience that will protect you in the future. Imagine your mind like a muscle. If you never put it under strain, if you never push it past its limits, it remains weak. But with every rejection, every no you face, you're lifting mental weights. You're becoming tougher, stronger, and more equipped to handle the challenges that are yet to come. Think of the times in your past when you faced rejection. Didn't you walk away from those experiences a little bit stronger, a little more determined, and perhaps even more focused on what truly mattered to you? Resilience is not just about enduring. It's about growing stronger through the process. It's about understanding that life will throw obstacles your way, and rather than being crushed by them, you choose to rise above. So, the next time you're met with rejection, whether it's big or small, remember this: it's not a dead end. It's not a reflection of your worth. It's life preparing you, molding you into someone stronger. Every rejection is a chance to prove to yourself that you can rise again, that you can face the next challenge with more confidence and resilience than before. You're building the kind of strength that will serve you far beyond this moment, the kind of strength that only comes from weathering life's toughest storms. 2. Rejection redirects you toward what's meant for you. Have you ever been so sure about something, convinced that it was the perfect opportunity for you, whether it was a job, a relationship, or a life goal? You put all your energy into it, and then, out of nowhere, rejection strikes. It feels like a door slamming in your face, and in that moment, it's hard to see beyond the disappointment. But what if that rejection wasn't an ending at all? What if it was a redirection? Sometimes rejection is the universe's way of pushing you towards something even better, something you couldn't have imagined for yourself. We often get so attached to a specific outcome that we forget life has bigger plans for us. We think, this is the only path I need to be on, but Stoicism teaches us to let go of that narrow focus and embrace whatever life throws our way. The Stoics had a beautiful concept called amor fati, which means love of fate. It's the idea of fully accepting whatever happens to you as something necessary for your growth, whether it's joyful or painful. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, practiced this mindset, constantly reminding himself to embrace all events, even the ones that seemed unfavorable at first glance. Let's relate this to real life. Think about a time when you were rejected, maybe from a job or a relationship. At the time, it felt like the world was working against you. But now, looking back, you can probably see how that rejection redirected you to something better. Maybe you ended up with a career that suits you more, or in a relationship that's more fulfilling. You couldn't have known it back then, but life was guiding you in a new direction, one that was ultimately more aligned with who you are and what you need. Rejection often acts as life's course correction. When a door closes, it's not because you're not worthy or capable, but because something else, something more fitting, is waiting for you. When you face rejection, remember the principle of amor fati. Instead of fighting against what didn't work out, embrace it. Trust that life is steering you toward what's truly meant for you. Let go of the need to control every outcome and be open to the unexpected paths. Sometimes, the most beautiful destinations are reached by detours we never planned. 3. Rejection forces you to grow. Think about the last time you faced rejection. Maybe it was a promotion you didn't get, a business that didn't take off, or a personal relationship that didn't work out. In that moment, it probably felt like a major setback, a door slammed shut on your hopes. But what if that rejection was actually the starting point for something even more important? Your own growth. Rejection, as painful as it is, forces you out of your comfort zone. It pushes you to confront your weaknesses, to take a hard look at yourself, and to ask, how can I do better? How can I improve? If everything always went our way, if every door opened easily, there would be no need to evolve or adapt. But it's in those moments of disappointment, when you're knocked off course, that real growth begins. Think of an entrepreneur who has failed countless times before finally finding success. Many of the world's most successful people faced rejection after rejection, but instead of giving up, they used those experiences to grow stronger and smarter. Every failure taught them a lesson. Every closed door forced them to find a new approach. And every no built the foundation for a better yes down the road. The Stoics deeply understood this. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, once said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." Just like physical exercise tears down muscle fibers so they can rebuild stronger, Rejection breaks down your old habits and ways of thinking, so you can emerge more resilient and capable. Let's say you've been rejected from a job you really wanted. In that moment, you might feel crushed, but after the initial sting fades, you start to ask yourself important questions. What could I improve on? What skills do I need to develop? How can I position myself better for the next opportunity? That rejection becomes a mirror, reflecting the areas where you need to grow. It forces you to adapt, to rethink your strategy, and ultimately to become better at what you do. Without rejection, there would be no reason to push ourselves. We would stay in our comfort zones, never striving for more, never becoming the best version of ourselves. Rejection is a catalyst, a spark that ignites the fire of self-improvement. So the next time you face rejection, don't see it as the end. See it as a challenge, a chance to grow. Remember, every setback you face is an opportunity to refine yourself, to become smarter, stronger, and more prepared for what lies ahead. In those difficult moments, you're becoming the person you're meant to be. 4. Rejection teaches you detachment from external validation. Let's be honest, rejection stings because we crave validation from others. Whether it's getting hired for a job, being accepted into a social circle, or having a relationship work out, we often rely on these external markers to feel worthy. When we face rejection, it can feel like a direct hit to our self-esteem, making us question our value. But what if I told you that the pain of rejection is actually an opportunity to learn one of the most important lessons in life? Detaching from external validation. In our modern world, it's easy to base our self-worth on external achievements, relationships, or the opinions of others. We tell ourselves, if I get this job, then I'll feel accomplished, or if this person likes me, then I'm lovable. But Stoicism teaches something radically different. Our worth is not tied to what others think of us, nor is it dependent on external circumstances. Epictetus, a great Stoic philosopher, believed that the only thing we truly control is our own mind, our thoughts, attitudes, and reactions. Everything else, including other people's opinions, decisions, and rejections, are beyond our control. When we face rejection, it's a reminder that we cannot place our sense of value in the hands of others. Our worth must come from within. Let's put this in perspective with a real-life example. Imagine applying for your dream job. You go through the interviews, you give it your best, and you feel confident. But then, you get the dreaded email. We regret to inform you. In that moment, it's easy to feel crushed, as if that rejection defines you. But Stoicism reminds us that this external decision doesn't define who you are or your capabilities. The only thing that defines you is how you choose to respond. When you rely on external validation, you hand over your power to forces you can't control. Rejection, in this sense, teaches you to take that power back. Instead of seeking approval from a job, a person, or society, you learn to build self-worth from within. You focus on your own growth, your own values, and your own sense of purpose, things that no one else can take away from you. This is where Stoic detachment comes in. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring or trying. It means you stop tying your happiness and self-worth to the outcome. Whether you're rejected or accepted, you remain centered because your value isn't based on someone else's decision. You control how you respond, and that's where your real power lies. So, the next time rejection comes your way, take a step back. Recognize it as a lesson in detachment. Instead of letting that rejection shake your sense of self, use it as a reminder to build internal validation. Focus on what you can control, your effort, your attitude, and your personal growth. When you detach from the need for external approval, you become truly free. You realize that your worth is something no one can give or take away. It comes from within you. 5. Rejection opens the door to self-reflection. When we experience rejection, it often triggers a moment of deep self-reflection. After the initial sting wears off, we start asking ourselves questions. Why didn't it work out? What could I have done differently? What does this mean for my future? This process of introspection is one of the hidden gifts that rejection offers. The opportunity to pause, reflect, and reassess. Think about the last time you faced rejection. Maybe it was a job you didn't get or a relationship that didn't work out. In the days or weeks that followed, you probably found yourself reevaluating not just the situation, but your own goals, priorities, and methods. This is the key to personal growth. Without those moments of rejection, we often keep moving forward without questioning whether we're on the right path. But when life throws a curveball, it forces us to take a step back and reflect on where we're headed. In Stoicism, self-reflection is a core principle. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, made it a daily practice to examine his thoughts and actions. Every night, he would reflect on how he lived that day, what he did well, and where he could improve. This habit of self-assessment isn't just about looking back. It's about using those insights to move forward with greater clarity and purpose. Let's relate this to real life. Imagine you applied for a promotion at work. You put in the hours, went through the interviews, and really believed you were the best candidate. But in the end, someone else got the position. The initial rejection feels harsh. But after some time, you begin to reflect. Was I truly ready for that role? Is this the direction I want my career to go? What can I do to improve my chances next time? This process of self-reflection not only helps you understand what happened, but also guides you toward a clearer, more intentional path moving forward. Rejection gives us the rare chance to reassess. It's a reminder that sometimes we need to pause and think about whether our goals align with our true desires. Maybe that job wasn't the right fit after all, or perhaps the rejection is pointing out a gap in our skills that we need to work on. Either way, the process of self-reflection helps us come back stronger, more focused, and better prepared for the next opportunity. So, the next time rejection comes your way, don't just brush it off or dwell on the pain. Take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself what you've learned, what changes you can make, and whether you're still aligned with your long-term goals. Use that rejection as fuel to become better, sharper, and more determined. In the end, rejection isn't just about what you didn't get. It's about how you grow from it. The real power lies in turning that disappointment into a stepping stone for future success. In the end, rejection is not the monster we make it out to be. It's a powerful teacher, shaping us in ways success never could. Through rejection, we build resilience, grow beyond our limits, and learn to detach from external validation. As the Stoics would remind us, we cannot control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond. So, the next time you face rejection, instead of dwelling on the loss, ask yourself, what is this teaching me? And in that question, you'll find the blessing. Rejection is not the end. It's a redirection, a step closer to the path you're meant to walk. Thank you for watching, and remember, through Stoicism, every challenge, even rejection, comes an opportunity for growth.